Well, we've got another matchup this weekend, of course, with the Chicago Bears hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium again. This is an interesting game, actually, I think, Brian, right? Because we have got a Chicago Bears who are 3-2, and I think that 3-2 is, I don't know if that's flattering. They have played well at points, but they've also, a stupid sentence, not played well at points. And you've got a Jacksonville Jaguars team that are 1-4. They go into 2 games in London, really hoping to change their season around, to be honest with you. But they'll be going there on a high. We'll start with the Jags. They'll be going there on a high with their last-minute victory, the first of the season. With their one win. But it was, do you know what? And I'll speak about this later on as well. It was a fun win. Yeah. It was a fun win for the Jags. The way that I like to see it is that they just wanted to make it dramatic. Nothing like a little bit of drama in the NFL, is there? They end up beating the AFC South opponents in the Indianapolis Colts. They'll be going into the game on a high. You weren't that big on the Jacksonville Jaguars this time last week, were you, Brian? Has that win changed anything, or is it just much of the same?
No, the Jacksonville Jaguars obviously are winning the Super Bowl.
Okay.
They are the best.
You're making fun of me now, Brian.
They are the best team in the NFL, and beating Indianapolis by 3 points when Anthony Richardson was horrible, that changed everything. I mean, come on. No, beating the Colts barely doesn't change anything about the Jaguars. Now, I do believe that they should beat the Bears, right? They are a better team. They have better talent than the Bears, and London is their second home, as everyone in the UK knows, even though I feel like it belongs to a lot of other teams more than the Jaguars. But I go back to last year, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, I was here, and I just started at talkSPORT. And the Jacksonville Jaguars came to London, and they were under some duress, and they had disappointed, and they were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, and they started slow, and they did the 2-week stay in London, and it changed, at the time, it changed their entire season, right? They won both games. They beat a good Bills team at Tottenham with Stephon Diggs at the time and Josh Allen. Trevor Lawrence played very well, and they got back on that flight, and they had momentum, and they rolled off more wins, and it looked like for a while they're going to win the AFC South until the Houston Texans became the best team. But the Jacksonville Jaguars used London to their advantage. They have to do that again this year. If it goes the opposite route, if the Jags lose most of these games, if I'm Shad Khan, and I'm not, because I'm not worth whatever, however many $1 billion he's worth, I fire Doug Peterson before I get back on that plane going to America. You have to win these games. You have a better roster than the Bears. Trevor Lawrence is making $250 million a year. He has to be better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, this is his first NFL game international in London. Trevor Lawrence has to be better. Then you have to beat the Patriots because they're horrible, and they're probably starting Drake May. So there's no way around it. The Jacksonville Jaguars have to go 2-0 in London, and if that flips around and they go 1-2, they have to fire their coach. We'll
go to the Chicago Bears, and I don't actually love the phrase generational quarterback because I do feel like it's sort of dished out a little bit, to be honest. But if we are using it, the last 2 generational quarterbacks are going to be Trevor Lawrence, for the Jaguars, of course, and Caleb Williams, the rookie who is starting for the Chicago Bears. His first trip to London, obviously, to play a game. I mean, he's only 5 games into his NFL career, obviously. What we're thinking about the Bears, what we're thinking about Caleb Williams, you know, from an objective standpoint, if you're like just a fan of the NFL, if you're going to that game, are you just there intrigued at what Caleb Williams you're going to get?
So, for me, the entire time, once the schedule came out, this was always the game that I was the most interested in. A lot of other people were saying Jets and Vikings, not because of Sam Darnold, because of Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and they have a UK fan base. I never believed that. I always look at your quarterbacks and your offense and just the excitement level, the drama level. This is a good game for me from an NFL fan. You have Caleb Williams, who played very well last week, is starting to look,
DJ Moore, he's got a nice relationship with DJ Moore now.
He does. And it was always going to be a case where Caleb Williams was going to start slow. Like, that should not be a surprise at all. It was, could the Bears and Matt Eberflus in that offense, could they find a way to make it work with him and allow him, kind of like Jaden Daniels, allow him to expand over time? He looked solid last week. So you have Caleb Williams going against Trevor Lawrence. That's just a cool, interesting, modern QB matchup. The Bears team have talent, but they have holes as well. Jacksonville should win this game, but I think if you're an average NFL fan, if your team is the Chiefs or the Saints or the Seahawks or whatever, you're in London or you're a tourist, you get a ticket for this game. I'm sure you can get a ticket. You get a ticket for this game and go to that game. That's a cool game to see. And both offenses put up huge points last weekend. This could be a really, really explosive offense type of game.
Oh, yes. I mean, explosive offenses.
Last week was boring as heck. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about, because I feel like, explosive offenses is what I'm going to talk about in a bit.